Investigators agreed to let the media on the property. They showed them the site and allowed them to videotape some of the evidence they had collected.
Up until this point, we've really relied on our imaginations to visualize this story. But today we have pictures that will probably leave many people with an everlasting image of the horror that occurred at the end of this road. These are some of the bone fragments that have been found, and investigators say there are countless fragments just like those scattered over a third of an acre here. The California Conservation Corps has been recruited to pick up the bones. Most of them worked on their hands and knees, raking the ground with their fingers. Investigators came up with 10 pounds of bones. The local coroner says 5 bodies have been found here so far. The Calaveras County Sheriff once told me, though, he believes there are as many as 20 victims, though, buried on the property.
Investigators were counting on the media exposure to help identify the 21 women depicted in the photographs tacked to the wall of Lake's bunker.
We certainly want to know the circumstances of the photos, when they were taken. We're interested in knowing anything we can about Mr. Lake and Mr. Ng.
A telephone hotline was set up by the Calaveras Sheriff's Department, and calls soon began pouring in. Detectives believe Leonard Lake and Charles Ng crossed paths with as many as 25 people who were later reported missing.
Property in Calaveras County.
Working under San Francisco investigator Ed Erdelatz, the task force tried to piece together any leads that would locate Ng or help identify the growing list of victims.
Anybody that had anything to do with either Lake or Ng, we attempted to identify and find out if they were still alive, and if they were, what their relationship was. And it was through that process that we began to identify different victims.
Members of the task force were sent around with photos of personal belongings found on the property in an effort to identify anyone who had been at the cabin. Relatives and friends of the missing realized their loved ones might be among the dead. There was the Dubs family from San Francisco, who placed an ad in the newspaper to rent their video equipment and were never heard from again. Randy Jacobson, a friend of Leonard Lake's, was found buried near a chicken coop behind the cabin. Jeff Gerald, who worked with Ng at a San Francisco moving company, disappeared along with his friend Clifford Ferranto, who worked at the same company. Ng's longtime friend Mike Carroll and his girlfriend Kathleen Allen had disappeared. Lake's neighbors were also missing. Lonnie Bond, Brenda O'Connor, and their 16-month-old child, Lonnie Jr. Their friend Robin Scott Stapley had vanished with them. And finally, Paul Cosner, whose car had originally led investigators on this trail of kidnapping and murder. The task force received one bit of good news.
We were able to ID all these women, and they're all still alive.
Finding the girls alive was a relief, but Lake's property still held many mysteries. Agents feared they would never know the complete story of the Calaveras County murders unless they found Charles Ng.